Our 36-year-old motorhome is falling to bits with the smell of burning clutch. You need a calculator? Hell, I hope this video is entertaining because it's not very informative, is it? If there was someone picking their nose over on the other side, I'd probably be able to tell you what colour their bogies were. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Today I want to talk about the best lens for landscape photography, because I suppose lots of people have got their favourites and lots of people have got their reasons for their favourites, and lots of people still go around and asking the questions of what's the best lens for landscape photography. Some people ask the question, what's the best camera? That's my scarf. Yeah, lots of people ask the question, what's the best camera for landscape photography? And generally speaking, the answer to that question is, well, it's the camera that you have with you at the time. Now, I tend to carry multiple cameras with me, so the best camera I've generally got for landscape photography is the best camera I'm carrying, which is my Olympus EM1 Mark II. But if you've only got your smartphone, then that's the best camera for landscape photography that you have at the moment. Simple enough, isn't it? So what's the best lens for landscape photography? I mean, I could end the video here, I suppose, and simply say it's the best lens you have on you at the time. But what if you've got more than one lens? What if you've got, this the short stubby lens, which is a 12 to 40. Okay, it's not short or stubby, but you know what I mean. Or what if it's a sodding great big long zoom, which my 40 to 150 or in full frame terms or even APS-C terms is normally a kind of 70 to 210, 70 to 200, sometimes 70 to 300. Well, is that the best landscape photography lens? Well, let's just try and find out a little bit whether or not it is, because at the minute you can see I've got this on, just because I've been taking pictures of the landscape. Heck, it's quite some landscape. I'll be honest, I was shooting that big hole down there with the big long lens to start with, and well, in fairness, even at the 40mm end, I was getting a little too little of the landscape. So I did what any stubborn micro lazy idiot would do, and I tried to do some massive great pano, starting at somewhere around there, ending at somewhere around there, and somewhere down there, and somewhere down there. It probably hasn't worked at all, but if it has, I'm going to show it to you now. I didn't get any video of me being an idiot, so yeah, sorry. It's a little too windy up here for my liking for me to kind of place the camera on a tripod and trust it while I fart about with a bloody great big long lens, trying to get probably the most stupid panorama shot I've ever tried. But hey, if it's worked, I'm going to pick it up. Well, at this stage, I don't know whether that image has worked or not. So, yeah, give it a thumbs up if you've seen a great image, and if you haven't seen a great image, yeah, didn't work. Sorry. So, I put the wide angle on, and then I got the shot. I also got a phone shot of it as well, and the phone shot. It's probably straight out of phone. It's probably better than the wide angle, because obviously we've got a big area of dynamic range here, and I know that the phone was picking up and making a great deal of this kind of cloudy, overcast sky. You're going to see one of them. It's almost certainly. Well, actually, I might put both up, and I'll process the camera shot. You can tell me which of the two that you prefer, phone or camera. I'll make it clear on screen which one is which. No, I won't. No. Hey, let's get some interaction here. I won't tell you which is which. You tell me which you think is which. Here they come. Now, one of these is from my Galaxy Note 21 and the other's from my Olympus EM1 Mark II. I think it's very difficult to tell which might be from which. Let me know which you think in the comments and I'll reveal in a few days' time. If you've watched my channel for a while, you'll certainly in most recent videos, probably the last 6 months, 8 months or so, you will see this lens on the camera far more than almost any other. And that's because I find it the most versatile. So if you ask me what was the best lens for landscape work, without doubt, it's a kind of medium to long telephoto. This is a 40 to 150, so in full frame terms that's an 80 to 300. A kind of normal kind of zoom. Is that the best lens for landscape work? Well, it depends on the landscape you're shooting and what you're trying to get in, doesn't it? Because in my view, yeah, probably it is. That's why it's on the camera all the time. It also helps that that's why it also fits in the camera bag with that on as well, along with 3 other lenses, a drone, another camera with a lens on it, all this audio gear, filters, a big flash and loads of other stuff. Yeah, that goes in the camera bag complete. And is that part of why I choose it as my most favoured landscape lens? No, I don't think it does. It could have something to do with it, but I don't think it has. I like using this because I can get into spots with this that the other lenses can't give me. Yeah, landscape is not necessarily about getting the whole landscape. It's about finding details in the landscape that interest you. It's about finding facets of things. It's about honing in on things, because whilst we've got this wonderful vista behind us, as a wonderful vista with your eyes, it looks great. Yeah, if you ignore all the cars. But as a flat 2D image, nah, there's nothing to look at whatsoever. But if you start just focusing on certain elements, such as there's a portrait shot here with these rocks in the bottom of it, looking straight up, getting a touch of the sky in there, and it's a nice shot. In actual fact, it's such a nice shot. I got it earlier. I didn't get it on camera, but here's the shot anyway. And remember, again, at this stage, I don't know what this looks like, so it's probably not a portfolio shot. I guarantee it's not a portfolio shot because the light's awful. But it's quite a nice shot, just looking at a very small part of what's in front of me. Well, no, behind me. It's in front of me now. Now it's behind you. You get the idea. Drove the motorhome up that last night. That's a 20% incline. Let me tell you, we didn't like it. The smell of clutch. Oh, the smell of clutch. Mind you, I'll tell you who didn't like it more. The people behind me. It was quicker than the cyclists though. I promise you, it's bloody bitter up here. Anyway, come here. I think this here is a decent example of what I'm talking about with the long lens. The problem is, one of the things I find is I'm often on the cusp of this one and the other one. They both start and stop at 40, so 12 to 40, 40 to 150. And I often find that 40 on this is just that little bit too close, but not close enough for me to get the bag off my back, swap the lens and go back to the composition. So I often just move my feet a little bit or compromise, and maybe that says more about me as a photographer than it should. But anyway, but here, careful where I stand because I've got my tripod on the ground, which I've just walked over. This is not the kind of place you want to go and trip, because that's a long way down there. But that road down there, I've got a nice framing of the of that stack and the road kind of S-curving through it, which I wouldn't get with a wide angle lens or a wide angle zoom. What I will get is more foreground, which may be worth trying in a moment. But for now, I think the long shot's quite nice. Have a look at the long shot, and I'll put a short one, or wider. I'll put a wider one up, and you can compare. But my favourite, just in the back of the camera, is the long one. Not that I've shot the short one yet. Hell, I hope this video is entertaining, because it's not very informative, is it? As much as these locations that you're seeing me in today seem that I've not moved anywhere, I can assure you I have. So you can see here we're looking down on this, and I've got the short, wider angle lens on in big camera terms. What was it, 24 to 80, and I'm just getting a number of shots here. Where's that point, the focus point? There it is. Okay, so I've got a really wide angle view here. I'm getting in, there's a rock just down on the edge here, right the way down to the road, which is roughly the middle of the frame, right the way up to the sky on the other side. So this is deep photography, and in my quest to answer the question which is the best landscape lens, I've got to say I'm doing a crap job of it, because there's light just hitting over there, and that's the wonderful thing. You can get this. I'll just bang away at the shutter there, because that's so fleeting. It's just when you see it just moving through the valley there. It's wonderful. I nearly missed that. That's the first sunlight I've seen that hit. That's the first sunlight I've seen here. Well, I've been out for an hour or so, and it's the first time I've seen any light down the valley. There's another one coming. Look, you can see it over here. Now, my problem with this is that I've got something very, very close to me and something very far away, and I don't know whether I'm getting everything in focus. Hold on. If I use my focus peaking, I think at f13 everything is pretty much in focus, which is pretty wonderful. So difficult getting this shot with traffic down there. However, because I've got a number of shots here, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to clone them out and overlay some images where there's nothing on the road to make that a much nicer shot. Bit of photo manipulation never really hurt anyone. It's not as if, I haven't seen it without cars there. I have. I've got shots without cars there, and heck, I'm going to use them to my advantage. Anyway, so big wide shot in the landscape with a wide angle lens. What is the best landscape lens? I don't know. I think as I started out in this, I said it's whatever lens you've got with you at the time, and because I'm carrying 2 or 3 lenses, I've always got the best landscape lens with me. Always. I've even got a teleconverter, so I can get really close into over there. If there was someone picking their nose over on the other side, I'd probably be able to tell you what colour their bogies were. Well, maybe not. And now I've got full. Our motorhome's falling apart. Mind you, it's 30 years. Is it 30 years old? It's nearly 30 years old. Is it more than 30 years old? How old's our motorhome? 1986. You need a calculator. 34 years. No, 36 years. I've spent some while shoving bits of stuff like this, which you can't really see on screen, back behind bits, just in case I kind of spring out, because our 36-year-old motorhome is falling to bits. And when I say 36-year-old motorhome, I've had to clarify that a moment ago with Nikki, who annoyingly, for us all I think, and amusingly, had to get a calculator out. She's shaking her head. Anyway, back to the matter in hand. What's the best lens for landscape photography? I'm not sure throughout what I've been shooting that I've really answered the question. It's one of those things, isn't it? Is it this and this combined together? Because I've got shots with the two of these earlier on, 2x teleconverter bolted onto. Is that going to fall? Because we're on a squaff here. I'm not going to take that risk. Is it those bolted together? Is that the best lens for landscape photography? Or is it what I'm shooting on now, which you can't see, but you are seeing because we're videoing with it? I think you get the idea. Yeah, the 24. Yeah, the 20. No, it's not even a 24. It is a 24. It's a 24 to 80 in full frame terms. But anyway, it's connected to that camera there. And is that the best landscape lens? I think the answer has got to be simply it's great. As is that, and as is that bolted to that. I've used all three today. You can see some of those shots coming up now, and I'll label as to which lens combo was used with them. And now I'm waiting for someone to see the pictures that I'm showing people, and I'm not talking to myself. There was, good to have her here. It's one of those videos where I haven't answered the question. The best lens for landscape photography? The best lens that you have with you at the time. It's the same answer as what's the best camera? What's the camera that you've got with you at the time? If I had to choose one of the three lenses that I've got here, well, I can't really call this a lens, can I? It's a teleconverter, but it only works with that one. If I had to choose one, it's this. It's on my camera all the time. It fits into the bag on the camera like that, and that's how I walk around generally. The 12 to 40, I would say I use perhaps 30% of the time, as to more like 70% of the time for that. It's got to be the long lens, because in most situations this will do perfectly well. In actual fact, in most situations this does better than the wider angle, because do you want to see the entire vista? Yeah, you probably do, but there are so many shots often within that vista that you can hone in on with that. That's not to say there isn't a place for the wider lens. You saw me using it earlier. In actual fact, some of the shots I got earlier, there was no way I could have done anything other than use that lens. I needed the foreground. And without having the foreground in some landscapes, you just end up with, well, the meh shot. Yeah, the foreground kind of just adds, doesn't it? I think if you were to ask different people, different landscape photographers, what the best lens is, they will give you probably slightly different answers. I think a lot of them would choose a longer focal range like the this 40 to 150. And that's to say that a lot of experienced landscape photographers would probably say this. Now, many moons ago, I would have said, no, it's a wide angle, because hey, you can't get much of the landscape in with one of these. And then I realised that whilst that was true, the wide angle shot doesn't give you a great deal of detail. It just gives you the vista, and detail in the landscape is a really important thing. I think what I'm saying is, it's up to you. The best lens for landscape photography has got to be whatever you've got available to you at the time to shoot what you want to shoot. It's not the same answer as if you were asking what's the best lens for portrait photography, because that's got to be something along the lines of a 90mm real shallow depth of field, f1.8, 1.4, something like that. You can answer that question almost definitively. But when you stick the word landscape in, it becomes very much more difficult, perhaps more subjective. For me, it's that any day, and often with that as well. For you, it might be something entirely different. Let me know in the comments. Oh, the kettle's boiling. Time for another coffee as well. So, thank you very much, and check out these videos here for some other thoughts that I might have on photography, and ideas that you might have, and ideas that I can't really keep doing takes over this, can I? Because because the noise in the background is is changing all the time.